Woo.
Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What is going on, Chip? What is going on? Everybody out there in the On the Chain family, XRP, Hinman, Clayton, Gensler, the big push for regulation, not clarity, regulation. Is this good or bad for crypto? And how about a stable XRP? What do you guys want to know about that and so much more? Chip, if you're ready to kick this thing off.
Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Hey, Jeff. And guys, if it's your first time
Welcome.
here, go ahead and like, subscribe, click that notification bell if you want more XRP, blockchain, regulation, SEC throwdown content like this.
That's right.
Sprinkle in a little bit of fun and maybe just a little bit of geopolitical around the edges, which ends up being more than just sprinkles. But that
Stable
happens.
XRP is good.
Stable. Well, it's a little bit of a deceptive. It's a little deception there. I see what you did with that. I see what you did with that, which is fine. That's cool. People are going, our XRP's been stable for years. Okay, not digging it, not liking it. And Jeff, where is everybody today? What the hell's going on?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. I know it's Labor Day weekend and all, but
that might be it too.
come on, let's go. We're
still working. Still doing the show, man. Come on.
Lee said, I guess something major happened on the TV. I don't watch TV anymore, so I'm here. I don't know what happened on TV, but
I'll tell you what.
Game
of Thrones, number one. The new one is back. Episode 3 tonight, but I think that starts at 9.
Mm-hmm.
We were at 8. So I think that's
there was a NASCAR but everyone's having there. Let me see.
Oh, there was also an F1. That was yesterday, and there was a bunch of cheating going on.
Man, I haven't seen F1 in a little while. I haven't been around on the weekend.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff going on with that one, man. There was a little cheats going on there and some talk in the headsets. Yeah. I don't either, but I follow stuff on, you see it on Twitter, so it's always good to watch. Jeff, what do we have for
blast? Formula One's great. We got Panama. That's what we got.
Hello from Panama.
Why don't you guys give a quick shout out where you're coming in from, where you're tuning in from? What is your place you're at known for?
OG.
BBQing.
Outside barbecuing. I love it. Yeah, I love it too. Man, there's so many good barbecues in my neighborhood. I was like, tomorrow's going to be even better. It's like you start smelling it. What did I get tonight?
It's good. Barbecue.
Pizza, Jeff.
Pizza. I had pizza last night.
It'd be a little more descriptive, like maybe a little more focused. Florida. Abaddon from Florida. Like Atlanta. Florida. I know where Atlanta is. What's up,
Atlanta,
Paul?
Costa Rica.
Of course, we have Finland in the house. De Havilland from Finland.
Got some
Utah. Got Ace Welding from UK. Yeah. A big shout out to Myron. Yeah, Myron's in here. And I always say it wrong. Is it Myron? Put the pronunciation in there. I was always saying Myron, but I know it's not right.
Ropey coming in from Michigan.
It's Detroit. Mernon. What is it?
Hollywood.
What is it? Give us the official pronunciation. It's not Myron.
Myron.
It's Myron. Yeah, it's Myron.
It's Myron. And cheers to everybody out there. Got a little bit of, give a shout out what you guys are drinking tonight or this morning, whatever it might be. Today is Jameson 18 Day.
Oh, it is Myron. Nice.
All right. Dallas,
not Myron, it's Myron. Got it. Stop, Myron.
It's his Ren.
What are you barbecuing tonight? That's what I want to know. I want to know. Look at this. Jim D says, been out boating all day, rubbing in. Way to go, Jim D. On the Indian River Intracoastal Waterway. Down in Melbourne. Oh, nice.
Nice. Gotta make your way further south when you're boating. Come all the way.
What do we got? What do we got first queued up here? I know you got a story.
We're just gonna keep chatting about stuff.
No, man, let's jump into it.
So this is a good one. Let me share the screen here first and foremost.
Burgers.
Labor Day burgers. So we got Crypto Eddie shared this this discussive interview, and this is a CBDC advisor to Ripple interview. And, we kind of went through it and said, hey, you know what? This might have a little bit of merit to talk about. So we dug into the interview here. And the interview showed up on the papers. So you get that? Papers. So insights into payments and beyond. So it's kind of cool. So we got Antony Welfare from Ripple on the future of money. It's Antony.
There's no
What's up,
in there.
Antony?
There's no H. It's
There's no
Antony.
Anthony. It's just
There's no
Antony.
TH. It's Antony. What's up,
Antony.
Antony? That's how New Yorkers call anybody named
Antony
Anthony. Is Antony.
is
What's up, Antony?
Antony. Yeah, there's no. Yeah, so just Antony Welfare from Ripple on the future of money. Now, the one thing that we know is that Ripple is definitely have been on the forefront of the payment space. XRP on the forefront of this new technology, this new economic technology that is moving money all over the world. But here's some key points here, because what does Antony have to say on the future of money? Now he talks about tokenizing the future of innovation with CBDCs. Now, you know what we think about central bank digital currencies. Now, if Ripple is involved in the central bank digital currency, building it on the XRP ledger, still have some issue with the centralization of it. However, that's one of the premises of what Ripple's rolling out here, and the tokenizing. They want innovation, they want CBDCs, they want stable coins, and we're going to talk about that later because we get a little stable, some XRP, and digital assets. So it gets really interesting, Chip, because here obviously we know Ripple, one of the first companies to talk about the concept of Internet of Value. Now they get into this whole conversation, what is Ripple? The solution transforming, how the world moves, manages, and tokenizes value. Now, it's interesting, right? Because we think about, Ripple really focused mostly on moving money, right? Business solutions faster, more transparent, more cost effective, solving inefficiencies that have long defined the status quo. And together with partners and the larger developer community, we identify use cases where crypto technology will inspire new business models and create opportunities for more people. That is quite an opening statement, Chip. And they go on: with every solution, we're realizing a more sustainable global economy and planet, increasing access to inclusive and scalable financial systems with leveraging carbon neutral blockchain technology. This is how we deliver our mission to build Now, do you think that he was sitting like face to face interview, or they gave him the questions and he took a moment to think through the answer here? Could you respond with an answer like that, that just like so like succinct? It's just like so like spot on, like it's been drafted,
And
and
reviewed by the
you've
team.
right, and reviewed by the team and the lawyers and the
Lawyered
marketing
up.
team, and you've just had to kind of emblazon it into your brain. So if someone ever asks you, what is the Internet of Value? What does Ripple do? And all of a sudden you're just like, did it, and this is what you say.
Well, I mean, it's hard to know anymore unless there's video, unless there's an audio of it. I don't. It sounds to me like one of these interviews where they draft up the questions, they send them over, you send them back sort of filled out, then they go ahead and publish them. But I don't know. I don't know about this one. I don't see anything called out to that it. And who knows? I mean, but again, they're really good, succinct answers. Sometimes these are the best ways to give an interview. Someone hits you up with a question, because every time we interview somebody, they're like, "Can you give us the questions ahead of time?" We're like, "Hell no, we can't." And if we do, we don't ask them anyway. So we're just, I'm joking, but the best thing is Jeff will give a bunch of questions, but then we never ask them because we just go with the flow, and
Hey, you
someone will
gotta go
say
with the
something.
flow.
Yeah, you bounce off of that. I mean, we have a general idea what we're going to go into. We don't ever go into an interview just completely blank, but the questions are there just as a primer. And Jeff, one question I had, I want to circle this back to the headline here when they started talking about CBDCs. Now, the thing about CBDCs, okay, yeah, we talked about the programmability of there, and you could technically do all kinds of evil things. But here's my thought. Is it going to be the central banks that are rolling this out? Would it be the government rolling it out? So, will there be a shift, or is it going to be the same status quo that we're accustomed to? In other words, the Federal Reserve is talking about the digital dollar, right? The digital dollar, another centralized, whatever you want to call it. It's a centralized, some kind of a digital version of the dollar, whatever that looks like. But Jeff, do you think that there will be somebody that bucks the trend and says, we want to have a little bit of sovereignty here. We don't want a third party, non-audited, unknown balance sheet party dealing with our digital version, our centralized banker's coin. What do you think?
That's a really, good question, because, I think that we're going to see both sides, right? We're going to have one side that is going to fight to maintain this centralized, sovereign asset under this unknown entity because they've gone unchecked for a long time. They've gone without audit for a long time. And this is on a more, it's not just regional here in the US, it's on a global scale. And so they like maintaining that power threshold. Now, imagine what they see as a disruptor to the power, right? Imagine right now, if we really put it into some, perspective in the US, we have our congressional representatives that can take information from upcoming votes. And if it's related to a company, they can go and buy shares in said company based on the previous knowledge that they have on what the outcome of the vote's going to be and how it's going to impact that industry and those companies. And they can go then and buy shares in that company and make tons and tons of money. So if we think about that you have this power struggle and you have those that are in power right now that want to maintain that power, and it's going to be the same thing, Chip, when it is related to the centralized control over currency. Now, why would you, if you were in charge and you had power right now over the currency, why would you want to relinquish that power?
You don't. That's the whole point, Jeff. You don't. That's the whole reason you lead it off with the C for centralization, right? The central part of it. Because let's just let people know, and I don't know who coined this, like who thought this was a good idea. If you think about the way the Fed's going with the digital dollar, you go, oh, the digital dollar, oh, the digital yuan, oh, the digital, Australian dollar, whatever it is, right? You're like, oh, okay, it's a digital version. But when you see the central bank digital currencies, a central bank, CB, central bank. So, it seems almost like it would be incongruent to not have the central bank do that unless you were onto something different. So what else is this
So,
kind
we,
gentleman
to get
saying?
into the tokenizing, what does that mean when we're tokenizing assets? And so he says, we all hear daily references to tokens and tokenization, which is a representation of a digital asset. We all know the original blockchain token, Bitcoin. They kind of gets into that. We're in a world where you can literally tokenize anything from commodities to financial assets, real estate, wine, cars, art, and more. So this is it's really, I think it's telling, the direction that things are moving in, and also then telling the direction that this one company is also gravitating to and moving in. Now we know that we have a major power struggle going on with the SEC and Ripple, and when we really look at the bigger picture, there's so much more going on. All right, it's not just it's not just emphasizing, okay, the SEC is going after Ripple because Gary Gensler thinks everything's a security. There's more to it. There's other power players that are involved, and we're seeing all of this right here because we look at the full use case within this space. We look at the potential right now that Ripple is putting on the table that we're starting to see. We talked about, Chip, we talked about yesterday, we talked about the smart contracts. We talked about,
We did.
not just yesterday, but over a period of time, we've talked about the XL S20. We talked about the side chains yesterday. We're talking about the witness. We're talking about all these different things of what's
Can I get a
being rolled
witness,
out.
Jeff?
Okay, you can get a witness. Amen.
Can I get a
You know,
witness? Yeah, I
but
want to go.
but
Let's go to
but
the
look at where we're going with this, Chip. Look at what's happening.
I mean, it's
So
phenomenal. I
and
mean, it's incredible.
and they're kind of leading the charge here. There's some other stuff, we don't want to get into the World Economic Forum, and that'll kind of put like of a kind of a
Yeah, let's put a damper on everything. But I want to go
put
to
a
the
real
chat.
big damper on it.
So XRP Hollywood, another OG on the channel, says, we said, what are you drinking? He's drinking a little bit of a Selvaray coconut right there, a little Selvaray.
Nice.
It's coconut flavored rum. There you go, right there. Jim D said he's drinking a White Claw. He's
Hard
drinking a
seltzer. Nice.
little White Claw there, and then we've got Lee Sands said a double shot of espresso and chocolate cake. What a mighty good combination that is, Jeff. It's a little late for
I
the
like
double
that.
shot of espresso, but paired
I like that
beautifully with
mix.
the chocolate cake.
I love espresso. Started out the day with a bunch of espresso. Good stuff.
Jess Costanzo says, "Hey guys, why is the price at 32 cents?" Referring to XRP. I get the lawsuit, and I mean, common Ripple and the stuff that Ripple has going on everywhere, but with everyone, there's no I don't know what this says, but he wants to basically know what's going on. We got the lawsuit. We've got everything going on. Else in crypto. Why is it sitting at 32
Why is
cents?
XRP sitting at 32
Yeah.
cents?
It's a question of the day. It's a question. Is that a rhetorical question? It doesn't have an answer, Jeff.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's really mainly because you don't have the full utility, yet. And I would say, in the entire market, right now,
Yeah,
and
and it's early.
just in general, I mean, we don't have the full use of this asset. We don't have full use of the XRP ledger. Bitcoin value, a lot of that has to do with hype. Ethereum with hype. It's not because of full utility of the asset that we're seeing a value go up. But people have identified, certain assets in a certain category, and they've prescribed a specific value to those assets, and that's kind of where it's going, because that's what people, as a whole, that's what people feel that it's worth. Because you have the buys and sells going on. So if people are putting it out there and people are willing to pay for it, then obviously price points are going to increase, and that's
Yeah,
kind
nobody
of
knows, Jeff.
right, and nobody really knows, but
Who knows?
that's the crazy part of it. And so that's why I look at it, we're so early to this, that the assets, the digital assets that are creating the momentum for future growth. And so if we look at the XRP ledger isn't a, get rich quick. It's not just an overnight sensation. Bitcoin you could really look at it over, if you were to compare digital asset chip to any other financial asset. Let's look at money. Is 10 years a significant amount of time in the overall existence of money? Right, and so we'd say that 10 years is just
No,
kind of,
it's
it's just a blink of an eye. I mean, it's insignificant in the overall, length of time that money has been on this planet. And so if we look at it from that perspective, that in that short 10-year period, we're just beginning to see the direction that crypto is moving in, Bitcoin having first mover advantage, but overall, the entire market looking for long-term stability and growth within the asset class. Now, if it had already over the past 10 years, Chip, ascribed and has already reached its peak value, then where is it going? And why would it reach peak value within 10 years? I mean, I
well,
wouldn't,
yeah, that's part of it too. But also too, I think because of the unknown, because people don't know, because especially when your main customers are banks that are purchasing the software and using the software, don't know, they're a little bit timid about sharing it openly. We only know out of the 450 or 500 plus partners that Ripple has, we might know 50 or 100 of them. Half of the ones we don't know about. The other ones, they don't want it to get out. They're a little bit worried about that. Once clarity comes in, then it's full blown. It's wide open. Look at Kelly. She's drinking sangria. That sounds good.
sangria.
Lisanne says iota is the 9th letter in the Greek alphabet, but it's also it's also the acronym for Internet of all things to come in the space.
That's right. And actually, Lee had another statement here I thought kind of puts it, succinctly here. XRP will either put a dent in the universe or go to zero. Quote from an XRP employee named Navin Gupta.
Yep. I don't think
I
he's with Ripple anymore, is he? I don't think
I
he
don't
is.
think he's an XRP employee, but
He's a Ripple employee, but that's
a Ripple employee, right? Yeah, we get it. We understood.
yeah,
But to that
it
point, and that's really, is that the case with all assets? Are they going to either change the universe, or are they going to zero? Are we at that point with crypto at large right now? But we're starting to see on a global scale, and it's not just our SEC struggling. There was something that just came out of Saudi Arabia, where they're assigning some new crypto uh, crypto uh, representatives,
Yeah.
within the banking echelon, the governments. There's a lot going on. So if we're starting to see it in Europe, we see it in Japan, we see it in Australia, we've seen it, we're starting to see it in the Middle East. If you're seeing crypto discourse in the Middle East, Chip, as we have, right, within Saudi Arabia and Dubai and elsewhere, that crypto is moving. It's going places.
It
It's
is, but
not
I want to
just all of a sudden disappearing.
let me ask you a quick question, Jeff. Were you aware that Alchemist is a Ripple partner? Did you know that?
Yeah, I did
Is
not
that
know that,
I didn't
but he's a
either.
partner in.
There's another one that's like 101 now. We know about another Ripple partner. So there's always that. So there's always that. So there's always something going on. There's always something. I think that we should probably I want to get to this Jay Clayton video. He was on Squawk CNBC, and this guy, I really just, you know, government officials, politicians. I mean, they're all in the same sort of rank, right, Jeff? They're all kind of, I don't know really what the word is, but they always talk as if somebody else should do it. Like, so let's suppose you're the person who's in charge. Like, what people need to do, what they need to do, what they. It's like, no, that's you. You're the person. They talk about, like, people in Congress are like, and what they should do, and what. No, that's you. It's what you should do. There's always like this outside force they're talking about, as if something out here would happen, and then somebody else would do something. But it's like, but that's your job to get together and make something happen. And this is what we have right here. This is Jay Asshat Clayton right here. This is him right here. Let's watch him in this interview on CNBC's Squawk Box.
We need regulatory coordination. It's a wide spectrum of products. There's some securities, there's some commodities, there are a lot of banking products. We need a wide spectrum. So how do we go forward?
Yeah, Jay, how we could have gone forward is we don't drop a lawsuit on, from when you're with the SEC and you're the chair, the day as you're exiting. You know what they always say when you flip the door open, don't let it hit you where the good Lord splits you. You just got to be careful of that. And he drops the lawsuit on the way out the door. Meanwhile, was a Republican, had the votes. They could have said, hey, you know what? Until we get some clarity, we are going to take Hester Peirce's safe harbor, and we are going to kind of use this. We're going to give companies 3 years, make sure that asset's completely decentralized. Come check in with us, not come talk to us, check in with us on a yearly basis. Now, he could have said that. It's not their job to create the regulations. He said, it's a kind of a good guideline, kind of a good, nice framework. But he was there, Jeff. He was the chair of the SEC, and he wants somebody else to figure it out.
Of course. What's funny though about this? So he's having this this conversation or being interviewed. He's talking about this. Look at the lineup, right? So we have Bitcoin, Ether, Solana, XRP, and Dogecoin. Is it coincidental at this point in time that there's only one that's showing a positive?
That's a weird thing too, Jeff. It's really astute. It's the
normally
only one
not
that was
like
up. Well, not only that, but for CNBC, it's especially weird. And I think a lot of it has to do with, the big competitor CNBC is Fox Business. Fox Business, Charlie Gasparino, Ellie Tarrant. They've had John Deaton on a number of times. Charles Payne has had John Deaton on. So they're kind of, and then, Gasparino tweeted out that someone asked, why doesn't CNBC talk about it? He goes, I don't think they understand it. So what do? They have people like Clayton on and ask him, we need regulations, we need this, we need that. But meanwhile, he dropped the lawsuit on the way out the door. Let's listen to what else he has to say, Jeff. I want to get your feedback on this.
You're right. Get all those people in a room and let's do something that we can achieve. I think there's widespread consensus. We can achieve rules around stablecoins.
So, and why is he so animated? When he was the chair, he was like this. He was like Mr. Snippy. It's like, what do you think? I'll talk about what they are. No, they're all securities. I think everything in crypto. Now he's like, now that he's working for, in the crypto sphere, all of a sudden he's very happy. We need this and we need that. It's just complete puppet. What a nut job. Somebody else is like feeding him lines to say because he's working for that. He's actually on the board, I think, of 2 crypto companies. Is there something River and I want to say New River, but that's before Lauderdale, Jeff. I mean,
Loon River.
The Moon River. I don't know. That's where we all want to. We all want to be coasting down the Moon River pretty soon. But it is weird. That's a good astute thing. Out of all those, the only one that's up is XRP.
Essentially tokenizing what are known as today as bank transfers and the like, and bringing the efficiency of tokenization to that very safe space. No leverage, rules around the fact that you have to have backing or regulated banking supervision. It's a pretty easy lift. The presidential working group started on this. They need to go forward. We also need to know how to custody digital assets so people can feel safe in the event. Look, we talked about what happens in an insolvency. We need to address those issues. That is low-hanging fruit. If we start there, we will have improvement.
So that's interesting.
So here's interesting.
Go back to how we started. Just play that quick opening before you make your statement.
Okay.
We need regulatory coordination. It's a wide spectrum of products. There's some securities, there's some commodities.
What does that mean exactly?
There are a lot of banking products. We need a wide spectrum. So how do we go forward? You're right. Get all those people in a room and let's do something that we can achieve. I think there's widespread consensus. We can achieve rules around stablecoins.
So, Jeff, what else is interesting about this, though, is, watch this. Watch my eyes. We need to have clear consent around. It's like he's reading it, right? He's reading so. And here's the other thing about this. Who knew? When did we figure this out? That he is now he's a contributor, and contributors get paid. Where is that?
We need regulatory coordination. It's a wide spectrum of products. There's some securities.
There it is, right there.
CNBC contributor.
Contributors get paid. So if you're called a contributor, at least here in the United States, you are a paid contributor. So they pay you to come on and rabble, hey, we'll give you this. We want to know this. And then he researches and he gets all like, well, we need, he didn't even say clarity. He said he doesn't want to go down that road.
Right.
He said we need regulatory coordination. Well, what does that mean exactly?
What does that mean? What does it even mean? I mean, how do you come up with these terms? Like, I mean,
you can't say clarity.
People are just inventing, right? But even regulatory, that just, what does that mean? Coordination. Who are we coordinating with? Why don't we talk about? And the one thing that he should reference, being that where he has come from and what he's involved in, is to say, hey, in order for us to have regulation or regulatory clarity, he has to reference the regulatory clarity, because it's not just coordination, but it's got to come from an act of Congress. But maybe everyone just kind of come to this conclusion that at the moment Congress is neutered and it's not going to do anything.
It's hard to know, Jeff. I really don't know, but it's the whole thing is it's like he was quite honestly, we don't believe the SEC should have anything to do with crypto because it's a commodity. They should. There's probably some that cross over on securities, and meanwhile, the CFTC, are they going after any crypto? No, because they view it as commodity.
Now look at this comment here from XRP Hollywood. He said securities, commodities, and banking products. Banking products to me is currency, like XRP. So what banking products is he talking about? Is he talking about loans? Is he talking about mortgages? What exactly is he talking about? Small business loan, school loan, interest-bearing checking accounts,
He just
savings
wrote it.
accounts.
Nobody doesn't know. How do you think he knows, Jeff? He doesn't know. Nobody
banking
knows.
products. Well,
I mean,
it's because
David didn't know.
coordination. We want
Jeff,
some coordination.
David didn't know.
No.
He's a kid I grew up with. He just never knew. Like, it doesn't matter what was going on. We would always say, David doesn't know. And that was just like code for they have no clue. They're clueless. You could have the clue bag, you could have it near you. Someone could pass you the clue bag. You could reach into the clue bag and still be clueless because you can't pull out even one clue, Jeff. Not even one.
Oh, it's amazing. So
0 for the clue bag. David didn't know. And it's pretty much the way it goes. There says Lee right there.
Yeah.
It's not a security, man. It's not a security. Look at this right here. Crypto Investigator, another OG of the channel, says, the audience makes great points, which is why we love you guys. That's why we love the OTC family, because
the best and the brightest.
Us and the brightest. You guys are educated. You guys went down that rabbit hole. You got stuck there. You dug a little deeper, and you finally came up for air, and that's how it works.
I like this. XRP rocks. Swift is like an old typewriter. I don't think typewriters exist anymore, but that's what Swift is like.
XRP rocks.
It's kind of crazy though, and it all boils down to the power struggle. There's just so much going on.
And I would imagine he's probably sitting right there. That's like a live picture of him drinking a beer right now. Although he'll say he's drinking coffee.
I've got this video let me just cue this. We haven't played this video in a long time.
Yeah, let's cue that video up.
Let me just cue it up real quick.
Wie einst Lily Marlin. Wie einst Lily Marlin.
So that's Sir John, right? Making its way home. It was a great bit. And then I don't know who did it in the community, but somebody put the music behind it. I'm trying to find the one is it this one? Maybe it's this one.
Wie einst Lily Marlin. Wie einst Lily Marlin.
So that's pretty cool. Someone put the music behind there. Not only that, but this crowd is witty. This OTC family is witty.
That's
Thank you for
funny.
doing that. I wanted to toss another video up here.
Yeah, hang on. Before you put that up, Jim D is saying, I wonder how many banks have MOUs with Ripple to purchase X quantity of XRP at a specific price pending the SEC lawsuit resolution. I think that's a very, very poignant comment, because one thing that we know is that Ripple has a lot of partners, and they have a lot of partners on a global scale. And we know that those partners have looked at the RippleNet solution and the game changer, which we have to go back to again. And Ripple and XRP, two separate entities entirely, because we know that we know XRP obviously will continue to exist regardless. However, focusing in on one of the major use cases of XRP, which is moving money. And what is the game changer? Because we have referenced a lot banks. We talked about the different asset classes. We saw reference to Swift. But what is the one big game changer that Ripple has above any of the competitor solutions out there, namely Swift and some of the FedNows and other things that are being presented in front of us, even though it might be considered digital currency? But the game changer is the on-demand liquidity, is liquidity. And that is very, very significant, and that is a game changer within Ripple. And so when we look at that, and the comment
Game
on that,
changer.
I think is really really important, because it is a game changer, that does. And so if the banks, to that point, understand that dynamic of ODL, what exactly are the banks considering? Are they saying, hey, we don't need our Nostro Vostro accounts anymore? But at the same point, if they understand the simplification and the movement of XRP, and it can
Yeah.
save them a shit ton of money, man, why wouldn't they be looking at ways to leverage this?
It's a great point. And look at this right here. De Havilland says, you have to remember that many companies are not allowed to deal with someone or something or entity that's in litigation.
That's true. Yeah.
So especially if they're a public company, that's why you see, you can say what you want about the exchanges, but you remember who regulates these exchanges, who, when they're a public company, look who you have to deal with. You have to deal with the SEC, right? Because they're dealing with public companies. So, I mean, do you want to volunteer for the firing squad? And I'm not talking about the people with the guns. I'm talking about the lineup. You're going to be in the lineup. You're going to have some incoming. And certainly nobody wants to be that person there. I want to throw another video up, Jeff. This is JW Verret. If you remember that awesome video we played here a couple months back when he was advising, he was some kind of a special advisor to the SEC. And he told Gary Gensler to his face, like something to the effect of like, hey, listen, we have to do this. We have to do this. I don't agree with that. And Gary's like, don't be a stranger. I mean, it's great. We really want to hear you, JW. I hope you don't go away. It was so pathetic, Jeff. It was like such the pandering and everything. And he hates him. And JW is super nice on the way out, but this is JW here.
Well, the SEC chairman has said that for most exchanges and centralized crypto exchanges and DEXs, I think he's referring to DEXs as well. He said there must be at least one security on your platform. Therefore, you're required to register with my agency. Unfortunately, and what I think is the first thing that's not really fair, can you tell us which ones those are and which ones those aren't? That would be nice. Instead of this sort of game of gotcha. I'm sure I could find one security in the list. Therefore, you're required to register as an exchange. Let's say the SEC chairman.
But how about that? How about that though, Jeff? Is there something there? It's like, hey, look, you probably have a security somewhere on your exchange. Yeah, they have 300 tokens, but you don't tell us which ones. Oh, we're not going to get into that right now. Well, they can tell us is Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the only one that they know of, Jeff.
The only one that isn't, and it's so obvious, because when you reference something that you don't know you don't know about anything else, but Bitcoin, the terminology. So it's so easy to go there. It's so easy to just throw out, reference and feel that you're taking part in the bigger conversation, because they don't, there's thousands of them, so you must have a security someplace. Oh, let's go to Bitcoin. Let's talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum. But the thing is, the reason why we see a lot of the political echelon talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum is for that exact reason, because they're not studying, they're not digging in and trying to educate themselves on the broader market. They're only
Right.
focused in on one, so that's why imagine the, complexity of finances, of stock trading and everything, on all the nuances that go into charting and everything. And then you want to sit down with a congressional representative, say, okay, let's talk about stock trading, but let's get into the nuances of reading a chart. They're going to be completely clueless on reading a chart. When you get into the technology of crypto, blockchain, and looking at the differentiation between different cryptos, why do we expect that all these congressional representatives or, elitists and, professors that run around somehow have some knowledge of all the different assets, the use cases, that, why would one be a security, not a security? Where is their mindset, that is just, it's kind of twisted, so it just,
Kind of,
let,
Jeff.
yeah,
Kind of twisted. It's pathetic.
completely.
And
Yeah,
Clement
let's
said
reference back to our, the congressional representatives when they brought Facebook in front of them. Do you remember how embarrassing it was? The line of question.
This book is a face. Yeah, it was pathetic.
I mean, it was so embarrassing, and so if they can't have a conversation about Facebook, or Google or Twitter and understand the actual technology behind it and how it's being used and implemented, why would we have any faith that the majority of these people would have any inkling of understanding of how cryptocurrency functions and operates? And this is where it's lost right now, because there's a small group that do understand it and are trying passionately to understand it. But even those that understand it, look at all the flack that, some of the political representatives got, Chip, like Warren Davidson, if he referenced Bitcoin and Ethereum. Everyone beat up on him like, oh, he's not talking about he's only, but that's because the entire
Yeah.
world is focused on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Everybody knows that terminology. It's already been, it's been mainstreamed already. But XRP isn't mainstreamed. Nobody knows it, and so he's, some of
What
these
about most
guys,
tokens?
yeah, I mean, they know Dogecoin, because we've talked about it, in terms of
ETH.
like the mainstream, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, and that's it,
Let's
So let's
let's
go.
listen to the rest of JW
I'm sure I
here.
could find one security in the list. Therefore, you're required to register as an exchange. Let's see which ones are and which ones aren't. Tell me something specific. Now, when you ask him for more guidance about what is and is not a security, he says we don't give legal advice. I don't think it's a fair response, honestly, because I think it's not legal advice. I think it's just regulatory clarity. And I think that's the least we can expect from our regulator.
It's the least we can expect, but it's always the least that we can rely on and get. Also, too, I wanted to say to the F and Moon over here says, Mark Yusko said about XRP, and he said, if you're going to come at the king, you better not miss. Well, that's good because we have 2 of those clips from Mark Yusko. So a big shout out to JV, another OG here on the chain. He's been on here a couple times. He's filled in and done some work on the channel. So let's look at both of these here. Let's throw these. So we had Mark Yusko on here. He was on the this, by the way, he was on, it's called, what's it called? I pulled it up here because I didn't remember the name. It's called Good Morning Crypto, the Good Morning Crypto Show, which I had not heard of before, probably because they talk about, I don't know, I don't even know where it airs. Maybe it's just on YouTube. It's called Good Morning Crypto. He had Mark Yusko, I think he's with Pompliano, right? In that
Mark, one of the questions that we
here it is right here for Morgan Creek Digital. That's also
There
him
we
and
go.
Pomp. I think that's their company. Remember they had this little struggle. They had some big losses recently. But here you go right here. Here's a good question posed that. This is the first clip we have with Mark Yusko.
always talk about is why are these billionaires so willing to promote, for lack of a better term, we call them meme coins. Some people call them shit coins like Dogecoin and Shiba Inu. But I actually do want to ask you, we're getting a ton of questions. They're begging me to ask you about XRP. So that's exactly what I'm going to do next. We always talk about XRP in this channel because we understand.
And by the way, let me stop this because I think To the F and Moon was one of the ones hitting them up with questions. I thought I saw him in there in one of these clips, and you can jump in if you were. But here he is asking about XRP. Let's hear what Mark Yusko, Morgan Digital, partnered with Pompliano, Bitcoin guys. Let's see what he says.
The evolution of the banking system. Coach JV, who founded the 3T Warrior Academy, he came from banking and he taught us everything he knows. One of the things that's clear is that the SWIFT system doesn't actually exchange value, right? It's just an accounting system. It just keeps track of where the value is going. These new protocols, which we call ISO 20022, are going to be running on a list of blockchains. And the most prominent one on that list is Ripple XRP. Back in 2018, they had over 380 central banks partnered with Ripple to start using their on-demand liquidity system. Now they've been sued by the SEC, and that innovation has been severely hindered, but they're growing outside of the United States. What I want to know from you in particular is two things. One, are you bullish on XRP? We know you're not an advocate of centralized currencies, and many people debate that XRP is centralized. And number two, what do you think the impact will be long-term of the SEC suing Ripple, and what type of regulations do you think could come from that?
Yeah, so it's a longer conversation that unfortunately we don't have enough time for.
Sounded a lot like Gary Gensler. Oh gosh, look at the time, Jeff. I mean, when we just started the conversation, we got a whole hour. Oh, it's part of a much larger conversation here. But did you notice that Bitcoin Maxi dude slipped in that, most people call it centralized. A lot of people argue that it's centralized. No, the only ones that argue that are Bitcoin Maxis who don't understand how it's decentralized. Those are the only folks that argue that. So he set him over the curveball. He goes, aren't you interested? How come you're not into XRP? It is argued as centralized, though, Jeff. That's what he said.
And happy to do it another time. Look, I'm not an owner. And there's a reason for that. It does have to do with centralization. So we launched an index with our partner Bitwise a number of years ago. And the basic idea, and it was an idea ahead of its time, which means it was a bad idea. And it will be a good idea at some point, but what everyone tried to do in this cycle was recreate the traditional markets that are 70 and 80 years in. And what I mean by that is people said, oh, let's have an index of crypto. Well, no, it took 70 years for indexing to catch on. Indexing isn't the be all end all. In fact, capitalization weighting is illogical other than in a liquidity fed environment, because you're buying more of the most expensive and selling what's cheap. That's antithetical to value investing, which is what I am at my core. So
what he is at his core, Jeff, in that case you were questioning his core. What are your thoughts on that clip right there?
Man, I kind of lost him. He
changed the subject. It's a classic thing. It's like he started talking about indexes. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I don't remember that being anywhere part of the question. But and then he's like, "Yeah, it was a bad idea."
On, just kind of going on and on. I'm like, what?
But the whole idea
at this point,
started talking about XRP. It's centralized, and a lot of people argue that it's centralized. No, there's only people that don't understand why it's decentralized.
It amazes me, why argue that it's centralized? And then sit there and prop up Bitcoin and try to make a claim that you can't have the exact same argument, that Bitcoin is somehow centralized or centrally controlled.
Yeah.
So, it gets ridiculous because obviously, we know, both are can be ridiculous. What is up, Tony?
Tony, when are you coming back on the chain, man? Seems like forever since you've been on here. You're probably super busy.
It has been forever.
I don't know how he gets all these high-end profile people, but anybody you want it, I don't even know, like, who's next. I mean, it might just be, you name anybody, and Tony will get him on the channel. But when you're not doing that, maybe I can hit you up on the DMs and come in here and, come in here one Sunday night maybe, and, let's have a conversation, man. Let's talk about these interviews you do. Let's talk about how you get some of this info out there, some truth serum that you're giving out there. So we can definitely do that. Well, here's clip number 2. This is interesting here. So this is Mark Yusko again. Let's listen if you can answer the question this time, Jeff.
A couple of minutes left, but I do want to fire some quick XRP stuff at you. So everybody talks about who's on their advisor, their board of directors, and those types of connections. Pull out a $100 bill right now. And if you look at right here, that signature right there is Rosie Rios. Rosie Rios is now on the board of directors for Ripple. She was the former U.S. Treasurer of the United States. They've got they've got plenty of connections when it comes to the Fed. And here's another one, right? Former Ripple advisor Michael Barr will now supervise the Federal Reserve. We see the connections all over the place. And if you do join us again, I would love to bring up a chart breaking down all the connections because there is hundreds. There's literally dozens and dozens of these employees.
No, I would enjoy that. And said, I need to learn more because,
No, Jeff, look at this cop-out. He needs to learn more. Now, I can remember a time 2 years ago when I heard an interview when he said the exact same thing when someone asked him about XRP, and he says, you know what? Started talking about centralized, and then it came up, well, no, it's not centralized, and here's why. And he goes, you know what? I need to do some more research on that. So listen to what he says here and tell me what you think of his answer.
I just haven't spent the time. And here's the interesting thing. Yes, I tweeted this out yesterday. And it was about Bitcoin, but it applies to Ripple or anything else.
Of course.
Every investor I know.
Why would it apply to Ripple when he's talking about a digital asset? Do you think he knows, Jeff, or do you think he doesn't know? He thinks that Ripple and XRP are synonymous. It's a centralized company, which therefore makes XRP centralized, but he hasn't gone into exactly what makes it decentralized. Unbelievable.
Yep. So what does he have to say?
That I respect. Started skeptical.
There it is right there. Did you see who that was?
Yeah, go back. There we go.
He was just bringing it up in the chat. I told you he was in there. To the effing moon.
Yep.
I'm not going to ask Mark about specific coins, except for XRP.
Skeptical of crypto broadly, of Bitcoin specifically. And then they did the work. And then they became a believer and a supporter. Every single one. There's only one guy, and I actually don't respect him very much. I shouldn't say that. Who just wouldn't do the work. He just wouldn't do the work. And so he's out there saying, no, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, and even wrote a book trying to say it's bad. I'm like, you just got to do the work. And so to dismiss something out of hand because you don't like the founder or you don't like the mantra or whatever, which happens all the time in this space, is wrong. You got to do the work. So I will commit to do the work, and we'll spend some more time, and you guys can help me.
Well, that's interesting too, because he's saying, you can't just dismiss something out of hand.
Yeah.
But
also too,
like,
he's going after somebody who is obviously somebody who hates Bitcoin, and we know who that is. It's it's the gold guy. Say, he doesn't like Bitcoin, and meanwhile the whole tirade and the rant he goes on can be applied to him. 2 years plus, he committed to doing the work 2+ years ago. He still hasn't done the work, still doesn't understand XRP, thinks Ripple is XRP, XRP is Ripple. He confused a decentralized company with a decentralized asset. He goes, but I'm going to commit to do the work. Jeff, how much you want to make a bet that he doesn't do the work?
It's hilarious, because he's, just the way he's putting it out there, it's funny. It really is funny, but, you have to agree, to that point, when he was saying, you've got to do your research. You got to you can't just speak out of turn, but yet it was kind of funny because it sounds like in the beginning, he's kind of speaking out of turn.
Yeah.
He's just kind of, making assumption, but it's an interesting dynamic, as people start getting into the digital assets, into the crypto, and they start, they become very opinionated. And we've caught some flack, because we've talked about other assets, and supported other assets. I have no issue with Bitcoin, and then other people come on and, they have a major issue with Bitcoin. But I'm not going to go down that path and single out one asset as being kind of a defunct asset. Even with Ethereum, now, I still believe that Ethereum, as bad as it is, has a use case, and it's proven itself to have a use case primarily as the ERC20s. I think that's the biggest use case, is that is what, if it wasn't for Ethereum, we wouldn't have what we call altcoins. That whole market would be almost, nothing.
Yeah.
Right. You would have very, very few assets out there, good or bad, but, at the other point, with Ethereum, you have the smart contracts. Without Ethereum, we wouldn't have had how many years of smart contract development and growth in the space, to the point now where we're finally getting some competition with Flare. We're finally starting to realize the potential of the XRPL, right? Because it was very, very, right. We're getting there. Everything was very siloed. Bitcoin, very Ethereum, even the XRPL was very focused on payment and just moving money. But then when you start digging into the technology, it has so much of the technology there. It's just getting to that point. What did Gorav say?
He said Ripple is not XRP. Can someone tell me? Yes, Ripple's a centralized company, and XRP is a decentralized asset. I wanted to put this up here. So that video we looked at with JW on there, Jeremy Hogan commented on it, and he said, the SEC should be able to go down a list of the top 20 cryptos at least and tell us which ones are and which ones aren't securities. I mean, why not? Why does it choose ambiguity? Why does it choose ambiguity? No one knows. Isn't it supposed to be protecting us from these projects that are following the law? Come on, tell us. He's right, making a great point here. No, it's like, I mean, at least that top 20, like, oh, well, there's 6,000 or 8,000 or 40,000. That's cool. How about the top 5? And it's not going to deal with Bitcoin because obviously that's the only thing they have come out against. But, going back to your statement about, when you were talking about the whole idea of altcoins, altcoin buys into the whole notion that there's Bitcoin and then there's everything that's an alternative coin. Like that should be erased. We talk about altcoins, and how about we just talk about tokens? Or how about we talk about digital assets? Because that just gives more credence to the argument. There's only one. It's Bitcoin. And then there's the alternative coins, which we sum up as altcoins. It's ridiculous.
No, it's crazy.
You have that, by the way, do you have that other article we were looking at, the stable XRP?
Yeah, I don't have it open, so let me get to it.
Yeah, pull that up. Pull that up. I want to see that.
That's stable.
Who is it?
Stable.
Yusko has done the work, but that's the way these guys avoid XRP subject. They change the narrative. Absolutely, Miguel. Miguel Castillo has got it right, because I've seen him 2 years ago say, you know what? I got to do the work. Then he starts lambasting a guy who didn't do the work and is mad about Bitcoin, and he's that same guy. And that's where, Jeff and I is like, look, owning Bitcoin, owning Ethereum, whatever, it's like, it's a flavor, man. It's like Apple. It's like owning Amazon. It's like owning whatever you want to own.
Exactly. So here we go. XRP Ledger might have its native stablecoin soon. What is Stably USD? That's the question, Chip. What is it?
Well, it's a badly named. First of all, it's a horror. Why do you have me Slavic girls on there, Jeff? What's going on?
Look at this.
See,
why do I have this jacket?
I don't know, man. Targeting you, man, because you're looking. There's stuff that they're.
So.
You don't think so? I don't think so. You're not buying jackets. You live in Florida. Why would you be buying a jacket? I mean, Jeff, buying a sweater and living in Florida. Of course, you'd be buying it. Yeah, they're always, they waste their dollars with their advertising. It's always geared up for the wrong thing. Stably, there it is, right there. Click on that. Stably.
We're hiring.
Because what could go wrong with another stable coin, Jeff? I mean, it's backed by what? What is it backed by? Let's see. Oh, this is for TradeFi. Well, TradeFi, we already have bridging TradeFi and DeFi. We already have XDC for TradeFi.
So who is Stably?
Please tell us, Jeff.
Let's find out. We're going to go to their website.
Okay. Dun, 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 dun. There you go. Bridge and value.
There we go. Who is Stably? So Stably, a fintech company that helps traditional businesses bridge the crypto chasm. Stably provides technology infrastructure for asset tokenization through a white label. Why is this? So they've got their stablecoin as a service. Look at that, stablecoin as a service solution.
That's the first time we've ever seen that. That's SaaS, but it's stablecoin as a SaaS, not software.
It's interesting,
solution,
right? So then we get into it. Yeah. The ramp widget. So you want to be able to ramp on, ramp up. Asset tokenization as a service. Man, they got a lot of services. Global business stablecoin account. So we got into this, but the question is, those are their partners. You got Stellar, you got all these different Binance. Where is how did XRP factor into this conversation?
I don't know. You have to go back to that article. I don't understand. Maybe they're doing something on the XRP. I don't know, but I don't understand where.
Stably partners with Ripple, expands USDS stablecoin to XRP Ledger.
Okay, that's what it is. So,
but then it doesn't. So it's here on the XRP Ledger. But what I don't get is that we get in here.
I don't know what that means, Jeff.
So we get, there's Stably. Let's go to the Stably USDS. Yeah, we think that it would be like just a little bit more obvious. Nope, not obvious.
There you go.
How did we stumble on this article?
I don't know.
First and foremost, it was on this what is this? U.today.
Yeah, that's always always gotta be careful on that one.
They just
You
look
got
who's
to be
there.
careful.
There's your buddy
Which buddy?
right there.
Oh, the Shermanator? No, that's not my
Yeah.
buddy. Well, anyway, Jeff, let's bypass that. But I thought this tweet was pretty good right here.
Yeah, I don't nothing
This
good.
is the this is fun. By the way, I love the
All things XRP Ledger. I still don't get it, but they promoted it. Stably, we're hiring.
yeah. Well, they
Stably
might have
official.
promoted some kind of a partnership. I think is how it ended up.
It was here.
They're speaking at Apex.
Oh,
Yeah,
because they're at Apex.
yeah,
So
they're
they
speaking
want
at
to do the
Apex.
full
Well, when they
promotion of it.
let's get the drill down from that when it happens. I
Yeah.
wanted to show you this one, Jeff,
Not
until
so
we could figure that out. So this one here is this is ETH Gate merge guy, and this is look at this. Look at it, it's got Joe Lubin as but I wanted to put this one up, and he said he tweeted these out. He said if these were NFTs, I probably could retire. And so look at this one here. The word is hypocrisy in Merriam-Webster's dictionary. Hypocrisy. It's got the definition with a photo of Gary Gensler lightly ghosted in the background. That would make a good NFT. Here's another one. The definition as a noun, hypocrisy. You got William Hinman, corporate finance, former corporate finance. You got hypocrisy. You got Joe Lubin, ghosted in the background behind that. And finally, we've got Jay. That we need regulatory. What did he say? Collusion or regulatory something or other. Anyway, I thought that was pretty clever. Pretty clever. It's pretty
Very
clever,
nice.
Jeff.
Very nice.
It's a good one. I liked it a lot. Did you know that the IMF is getting into regulating? There's a whole thing about regulating.
Melbourne, Australia made it in. Yeah, no, I saw the IMF. Man,
Let's go to this one. This was way more
what
important.
is going on with the IMF? Because it's not
Well,
so exciting.
we'll probably have to like hold that one over. But anyway, here's one that I want to get into. Bill Murray, one of my favorite all-time actors. So look what happened, man. And you can be a massive celebrity, been around the business for a long time. So a hacker steals Bill Murray's crypto after 185,000 NFT charity auction. The auction's original runner-up bidder is already off and replaced those funds. And there it is right there. That was the NFT you could buy.
How did it happen so fast? Like,
Jeff, I mean, it seems to be a little bit
get
weird,
it,
right?
and then it's gone, and it's like the whole
Well, hours after closing on Bill Murray's NFT auction that raised 120 ETH, around 185,000 for charity, Thursday, a hacker stole the funds. Hacker started to drain Murray's personal wallet around 7 p.m. on Thursday, according to on-chain data from Etherscan and details from Murray's team. The unknown individual also attempted to take NFT from the actor's personal collection.
But how?
Sounds like it could have been, well, because it could have been.
It's not just some random person.
It sounds like an inside job.
No.
Maybe someone, you see what it says, Murray's team? I have a feeling it might have been someone connected with Murray's team because
exactly
someone knew something. High profile hack showcases even how well-known celebs can fall victim. It seems like a stretch here,
man. The whole thing is a stretch. I like how they put this out there because first of all, he's into the NFT, but they also want to put a little bit of negative, vibe to this whole thing because it did get stolen. So instead of just immediately blaming, hey, you know what, you probably had some weak team members, maybe someone did something, they left something open, whatever, it was an inside job, or even if it wasn't an inside job, somebody else was somehow already susceptible. Who knows? But it's just a little odd.
Yeah, and then look at this here. The hacker also tried to steal 800 NFTs from the Bill Murray collection that were sitting in a wallet, though Project Venkman said it foiled that attempt by moving those NFTs to a safe house too. They said they ran a script to automatically move the NFTs to, let's go look at his so this is Bill Murray's. So it's just a bunch of Bill Murray with 3D glasses on with a bunch of different background.
Great.
And there it is.
It's just, I like the legendary, he said publicity stunt for sure. Sounds like an inside job. The whole thing, maybe, there was a little bit of movement there. They were probably expecting, millions of dollars or something, 185,000, not that much. Maybe that's all that was, who knows? They want to
These are
get, a
funny,
little
though.
vibe there.
These are funny, though. It's some of the titles of this one. This one's Phil Donahue's Dating My Grandmother. This one is Hunter S. Thompson saved Bill Murray's life, ... eventually. Yeah, bathed in purple light. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So the other ones haven't come out yet. So it's a Cinderella story from Caddyshack. Yeah, I like that one. A Cinderella story. Where the hell's my whiskey? That's a good one, Jeff.
That's a
Whiskey
good one.
glasses in the background. Thunderbird Owners Club. Yeah, a lot of movie type stuff. Pretty cool. I like it. Anyway, that's all the time we have,
Yeah.
Jeff.
That's it. We flew through it. That's why we don't want to talk about the IMF. It was much more entertaining to talk about Bill Murray
Hell yeah.
and
Even if
his
it was a publicity stuff, who cares? Someone did
and
something.
his NFT. Someone did something
You know
somewhere somehow.
you know the thing.
You know the thing. You know the thing.
You know
Come
the
on.
thing.
Come on now.
That's actually a sweet NFT. There's a lot of good ones.
It is a
Bill
pretty cool
Murray's
NFT.
freaking solid.
But anyhow, that was awesome. Survive. This was great. As always, we have the best and the brightest in the YouTube space gathering here with us here on the chain. You guys are awesome. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys back on the next one. And we'll bring a bunch of great content on Wednesday evening. So Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today was a great show, Chip. Got into
Loved
some
it.
great topic. And looking forward to the next one.
And for those of you that live in the United States, enjoy your holiday tomorrow. It is Labor Day. That's when we all get a day off from the grind. And, I'm heading to the beach early tomorrow, Jeff. I'll be at the beach hopefully by
Nice.
8 o'clock before
Nice.
it turns into a massive hot
Scorching day.
box.
The
Scorching
best
day
time to
before
go to the beach is for sunrise.
Well, that's
Get there
even
by
better. But
sunrise and leave by 8,
hell no,
8:30.
I'm not getting up there that early. I'm going to sleep in a little bit there. So, but anyway, that's all we got, guys. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Chip and Jeff out. See you guys.
Oh.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.